Keep left to State Route 495 East, Lincoln Tunnel.
All right, everybody. Paul. Look. Paul.
Yeah, what up? I'm looking at the map.
Scrap with Grandpa. We're heading on a trip. Downtown Manhattan. One of these amazing buses around town. That is awesome. Look at that. We get to go around the whole town taking pictures. So ride along. Enjoy the fun. Left-handed Paul. Scrap with Grandpa. Downtown Manhattan. Macy's, 1 million square feet of retail space. $3 to $4 billion store value.
Shops. Initiated by the opening of a Korean bookstore and a handful of restaurants in the 1980s, Koreatown sprang into being. With their success, an additional stream of Korean-owned businesses took root in the neighborhood, coinciding with the increased immigration from Korea, and with rising demand for the prime location, overall property values in the area increased as well. Founded in 1628, when the entire population of the city was less than 300, the first church elder was Governor Peter Minuit, who had recently purchased Manhattan from the Native Americans. Peter Stuyvesant, Director General of New Amsterdam, led worshippers to Sunday service and would impose a fine on anyone who did not attend church. Side of the Marble Collegiate Church. It was here that in 1977, Donald Trump married Ivana, the first of his 3 wives. We are now approaching Nomad, which stands for North of Madison Square Park, bordered by 25th Street to the south, 29th Street to the north, 6th Avenue to the west, and Madison Avenue to the east. Photographs of the iconic Flatiron Building, directly ahead and to your left. Built in 1903 and originally known as the Fuller Building, the building's name Flatiron derives from its resemblance to a cast iron clothes iron. The Flatiron's interior is known for having strangely shaped offices, with walls that cut through at an angle on their way to the skyscraper's famous point. These point offices are the most coveted and feature amazing northern views that look and Madison Square Park. Please remain seated until the bus comes to a complete stop. Please also watch your step as you walk down the stairs. In most earlier Broadway theaters, patrons seated in the cheaper balcony and mezzanine sections utilized separate entrances from patrons who had purchased the more expensive orchestra section seats. Here, all patrons entered the new theater through the same doors, and a series of steps inside the house led to the upper seating areas. The theater district, referred to by New Yorkers simply as Broadway, stretches from 40th Street all the way to 57th Street and from 6th Avenue to 8th Avenue, encompassing Times Square as well. The The theater district first began attracting theaters and restaurants to this neighborhood in 1883, after the Metropolitan Opera House moved to West 39th Street and Broadway Square, which has historically been the site of many political demonstrations. Union Square is also the union of Manhattan's two principal thoroughfares, Broadway and Bowery Road. A short walk down 14th Street, For your own safety, be aware of low traffic lights, signs, and tree branches ahead. You must remain seated at all times while the bus is in motion. We are now in Greenwich Village, often referred to by locals as simply the Village. The neighborhood is bordered by Broadway to the east, the Hudson River to the west, Houston Street to the south, and 14th Street to the north. The Village... Get your cameras ready, because you may encounter a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to snap a selfie with your favorite celebrity on the streets of New York. Some famous residents you may spot in this neighborhood are Alec Baldwin, Anderson Cooper, Brian De Palma, Leonardo DiCaprio, Marc Jacobs, and many more. Welcome to NYU. About 90% of the buildings around us are student dorms or academic buildings which belong to New York University. Founded in 1831, New York University is a private, non-sectarian university ranked among the top 30 universities in the world. NYU counts 38 Nobel Prize winners in the United States in the 1880s. We are driving past what is the back of the Astor Place Theater, an off-Broadway house, with the main entrance located at 434 Lafayette Street, Colonnade Road. Originally constructed in 1831 as a series of 9 connected buildings, it has been home to the Blue Man Group since 1999.
Blue Man Group.
Who went on to purchase the theater in 2001. Which stands for north of Houston Street. One of the most famous streets in the neighborhood is Bleecker Street, known as the Greenwich Village nightclub district. The street connects a neighborhood popular for music venues and comedy, but which was once a major center for American Bohemia. The street is named after Anthony Bleecker, a 19th century banker who bought 160 acres of land that would later become Greenwich Village, where Bleecker Street runs today.
Yeah.
For Washington Square Park. A short walk away is the NYU campus. Please remain seated until the bus comes to a complete stop. Please also watch your step as you walk down the stairs.
Tiny little car. Smoking a weed. Main Street. The guy sitting on the sidewalk over there burning one. Look, set him against the wall. They don't care. Smoke a weed.
In Soho. You may have already guessed that the name Soho refers to the area being south of Houston Street. It is hard to believe that this upmarket neighborhood went downhill after World War II. The textile industry largely moved to the south, leaving many large buildings in the district unoccupied. Some buildings were replaced by warehouses and printing plants, and other buildings were torn down to be replaced by gas stations, auto repair shops, and parking lots and garages. By the 1950s, Soho had become known as Hell's 100 Acres, an industrial wasteland full of sweatshops and small factories in the daytime, but empty at night. The neighborhood began to change again. Soho boasts the greatest collection of cast-iron architecture in the world. Approximately 250 cast-iron buildings stand in New York City, and the majority of them are here in Soho.
Hemp on wheels. Pick it up here.
You'll be tempted by the sights, sounds, and smells of Italian cuisine and culture engulfing you at every step. You can imagine that you are back in the 1880s, surrounded by immigrants from Naples and Sicily. Little Italy is centered around Mulberry Street, between Broome and Canal Streets. After World War II, many residents of Little Italy began moving to Brooklyn, Staten Island, Eastern Long Island, and New Jersey. This is your stop for Soho. A short walk away is Chinatown and Little Italy.
Chinatown.
Please remain seated until the bus comes to a complete stop. It is home to the largest enclave of Chinese people in the Western Hemisphere, with an estimated population of 90,000 to 100,000 people. Chinese immigrants arrived in significant numbers in the New York area in the late 1870s. The Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882 prohibited laborers and their families from entering America, as well as immigrants already in the country from obtaining citizenship. The Exclusion Act was repealed 60 years later. A short walk away is Tribeca and Little Italy. Please remain seated until the bus comes to a complete stop. Please also watch your step.
No. Yours? Broadway. Started to.
It sparked a huge controversy over its aesthetic value. The piece was removed in 1989 and remains in storage as the artist refuses to display just behind a national monument located at 290 Broadway. It contains the remains of more than 419 African Americans buried during the 17th and 18th centuries in the largest colonial-era cemetery for people of African descent, some free, most enslaved. There may have been up to 20,000 burials building was opened by President Woodrow Wilson on April 24, 1913. However, what made this historic was that he turned the lights on in the building by pushing a button, whilst he was over 200 miles away in Washington, D.C. Now get your cameras ready and point them to the right at the next block, Vesey Street. You will notice the magnificent facade of One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower. At all times while the bus is in motion. Was that he turned the lights on in the building by pushing a button whilst he was over 200 miles away. Municipal building. On its top you can see a 25-foot tall statue installed in March 1913 called Civic Fame. The statue is a gilded copper figure, made from about 500 pieces of hammered copper executed by the Manhattan firm of Brochard and Braun. The building's architectural style has been suspension bridge and is one of the oldest bridges of either type in the United States. Completed in 1883, it connects Manhattan and Brooklyn by spanning the East River. Construction of the bridge began in 1869 and was initially designed by German immigrant John Augustus Roebling, who sustained a crush injury to his foot which ultimately led to his death. His son Washington Roebling took over the project and after he too suffered a paralyzing injury was unable to supervise the construction firsthand. With 166 lights on the Manhattan Bridge and 224 lights on the Williamsburg Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge is often featured in wide shots of the New York City skyline in television and film. It has been shown in films such as Annie Hall, Gangs of New York, Independence Day, I Am Legend, The Dark Knight Rises, Once Upon a Time in America,
Johnson, George and Ira Gershwin, Jimmy Durante, and Irving Berlin. From being a poor immigrant neighborhood to hipster central. Thousands wanting the National Trust for Historic Preservation to place the neighborhood on their list of America's most endangered places. Has become home to numerous contemporary art galleries. The new museum relocated to a critically acclaimed building on Bowery, and a growing number of galleries are opening in the neighbourhood to be in close proximity to the museum. Perfect time to explore the many galleries, shops and boutiques hidden in pockets across the neighbourhood. But it's not only galleries here. there is a booming bar and club scene. Another staple of the entertainment scene is the live music. Bandstanding. The neighbourhood has a good mix of options that range from massive clubs to hole-in-the-wall dive bars.
This is your stop for Liberty Cruise. Please get off here and follow the walking directions. Bus is the tallest vehicle on the streets of New York. For your own safety, be aware of low traffic lights, signs, and tree branches ahead. You must remain seated at all times while the bus is in motion.
Until the late 20th and early 21st century, the downtown neighbourhood was considered to be primarily a destination for daytime traders and office workers from around New York City and the surrounding areas. But nowadays, it is an up-and-coming residential area too. The neighbourhood now has a growing number of full-time residents, with estimates showing that there were approximately 61. 2001, with many buildings being converted from office space to apartments and condominiums during the 1990s and 2000s. Historically, Lower Manhattan hasn't been known as one of New York's most
marketplace. away from Lower Manhattan and Brooklyn, it's easily accessible by ferry. Governor's Island National Monument, managed by the National Park Service, consists of two 82-metre falls, and Alfred. The National Park Service offers interpretive programs throughout the season and tours of the Castle and Fort. Governor's Island offers the Statue of Liberty, the Manhattan Skyline, the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Brooklyn Waterfront. Only a 10-minute ferry ride from there. Access to the island is during the summer season, generally from Memorial Day weekend in May through to the last weekend of September. Ferries in Manhattan depart from Battery Maritime Building. Nice.
Celebrates the city's rich architectural heritage and examines the historical forces and individuals that have shaped its successive.
Yeah, no. I'm not working up there, Paul. No.
need one of your cards. Right side of your leg.
Yep. There they are. They are up there, buddy. Pier 40.
$11,000 square feet of living space. In the second building lives the daughter of American TV personality Martha Stewart. And in the third lives Heather Mills, the former wife of Beatle Paul McCartney. These are multi-million-dollar apartments overlooking the river. We are now approaching the well-known and ultra-trendy Meatpacking District. The Meatpacking District got its name because that's where meat was literally packed and sold in the 1900s. The area's decline began in your stop for the Highline Park and the Meatpacking District. A short walk
Have a good day. Have a good day.
Please also watch your step as you walk.
Kidding me?
Yep. Now they moved it up here.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's why I'm paying for, dude. I was in South Fork, North Carolina.
Still building. Tell me this is our stop.
in the New York metropolitan area behind New York
Jersey City.
Density and level of urban infrastructure in square feet of office space as of 2018. It contains the majority of the city's skyscrapers, as well as the headquarters of many big-name companies, including Calvin Klein, JP Morgan Chase, the New York Times Company, NBC Universal. In the last 50 years. In the past 30 years, the area has seen significant gentrification. As of 2018, Hell's Kitchen is considered to be high income relative to the rest of the city. Due to its proximity to Broadway theaters, Hell's Kitchen has long been home to studying and working actors, and in recent years, to young Wall Street types. The neighborhood also has a number of broadcast and music recording studios, such as the CBS Broadcast Center and the former Sony Music Studios. Hell's Kitchen is home to the Dinosaur. In 1982, a sculpture named The Commuter was installed in the main ticket area of the bus terminal. It was designed by American painter and sculptor George Siegel. The sculpture depicts 3 weary bus passengers and a clock salvaged from the original terminal. Another sculpture, 42nd Street Ballroom, is a rolling ball sculpture by George Rhodes on the main floor of the North Wing, and it was unveiled in 1983. There's also a 4,000-pound bronze sculpture outside of the terminal on 8th Avenue. It is of Ralph Cramden, the fictional bus driver from the TV show, The Honeymooners. The South Wing is a fitting location for the statue as it was opened in 1950, which is the same time Ralphie was driving his fictional bus. In July 2011, the Port Authority bus terminal became home to the world's largest media mesh, a stainless steel fabric embedded with LED for various types of media and advertising imagery. The LED imagery facade covers 6,000 square feet and wraps around. The terminal has 4 blocks north on 8th Avenue. You will come to West 46th Street, the location of Restaurant Row. Adjacent to Times Square, conveniently located in the heart of the theater district, Restaurant Row is 1 block long on West 46th Street between 8 and 9th Avenues. In case you didn't know, the Broadway theater district originated in the early 1900s as theaters began to move from Union Square, Madison Square Garden, further uptown to the Times Square area because of its cheaper real estate. Over time, this district became one of the most artistic and culinary destinations in New York City.
How cool is that? Weed delivered. Weed delivered. Yeah. My rock's right down there now.
I ain't got you back. It's a funny
Alright.
stuff.
Hoboken, baby. And that was our trip to New York. We had an amazing time. Heading back home, got Paul behind the wheel. 95 on 95. God almighty.
Hang on.
Hang on. All right, guys. Till the next one. See you when you get there. Be safe. Be kind to others. By all means, have a blessed day.